Now, yeah. I think we're good. Testing, testing. Okay. All right. So, if y'all would like to come a little bit closer. And I'll come. Yes, okay. All right. Cool. I'm going to move that way a little bit so that I can be close to the... Okay. Are we good here? Okay, cool. There you go, everyone. So I think we're good to go. Is everyone in Chitrakoot doing all right? Yes? Okay, good. So thank you all for also being here. So we are trying this new setup to make sure we have good connection from both centers at once. Is it possible to get the slides open? It was in the announcements or the email that was sent. There's a Canva link that had some questions. I thought today we would go through those questions, talk about it, discuss it, and supplement. And there were a couple of good questions from last week that I wanted to address. So that will be the majority of our content for today. Yeah, so we'll give everybody a minute. Let's see. Okay. We're good? Give us a second. They're like double speakers and double mics, so we're figuring it out. Okay. All right. If not, then we'll try to, if we are not able to get the slides, I think we can still manage without it. Is that all right? I'll go ahead and... Yes, after opening, yes, if we can show like this every once in a while and keep switching back and forth. Yes, I'll let you know. Okay, so that's good, that's helpful. So with that, let's go ahead and get started with our opening prayers, and then we'll get into the questions today. Sahana bhavatu, sahano bhunaktu, saha viryankaravavahai, tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om shanti shanti shanti. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha, Gurureva Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. All right, so would we be able to see the first or second slide where it gives the paragraph? All right, if we can hold right there. Chitrakoot side, may I get your feedback? Was everyone able to read the question, discuss? Okay, I got a thumbs up from that side. All right, and I think from this side, we weren't able to do it much during that, so we'll do it as a review now. Let me go ahead and read this one. Until then, I'll ask them to get the mic on this side. So we saw one paragraph in this chapter called Harmony and Poise. And here we saw, in the world today, we are living through an age of confusion and tensions, both within and without us. These external challenges persecute us and render us unhappy and sorrow-ridden. The intelligent philosophy of the rishis advise us, and this I would say is the most important line here, to live in harmony with the situations in life and steadily work to meet them with discretion and constant application. When we live thus a period of time, a subjective poise will develop, giving us inward peace and tranquility, which thereafter remains unaffected by threats and onslaughts. So if we can move to the next slide, we'll see the question here. Okay, so this was the main question. What prevents an individual from maintaining poise and balance while facing life's challenges, and instead we crumble and cry and act as a victim? So what prevents someone from maintaining that poise? So let me ask Saket, and then I will switch to Chitrakoot to get some answers to share as well. Can we get a mic for our... they're behind me. I'm sorry. Yes. Keep a couple out here. So I have one here. Go ahead, share your answer.
I would say patience.
Okay. So lack of patience, I guess.
Lack of patience.
Okay.
Yes.
Lack of patience. And can we switch to board view? Okay, so lack of patience. Would you be able to elaborate on that just a little bit? Why is it that lack of patience prevents someone from being calm, collected?
So they may be thinking why it's happening to me, like why it's always the case, why is not like results of good deeds coming quickly, right? So that could be lack of patience there.
So why me always and why not good results? That too, now. I did a good act, why am I not feeling the good results right now? Why am I still suffering?
Right.
Okay. Let's try this out from Chitrakoot side, see how it works. Any volunteers from Chitrakoot, please speak loudly so we can hear. Yes, we can hear. Are you able to hear? Yes.
The technology is working. We have the first question there is on the perception. Into the
I apologize. It's breaking up a little bit. So is there a way to speak slowly?
Can you hear perception?
Perception.
Attachment to
Attachment
dinner.
to what?
Drink.
This was a point of it. We're trying to figure it out just a little bit. Go ahead. Try again. How do I get my computer? Yes. Yes, that's much better.
Attachments to results.
To results. Attachment to results. Would you elaborate on that? Why is attachment to results destroying poise?
What you told us this morning in the Satsang, in the assembly earlier, so it's more of not looking at the results but do the action without expecting the selfless. So then there is no concern or whether I succeed, fail, it's not attached to me or I am attached to it.
So in this case, we are very much undoing the very doership within. It is not me that is doing it. It is a selfless attitude that I'm doing it. Therefore, I am undisturbed whether the results come or not. Okay, very important principle here. So now I will switch to this side. Any other answers? What prevents someone from feeling that poise, and they end up feeling like a victim. Oh, maybe the red one?
Probably some expectations, like they expect something and things doesn't happen like what they're expecting. So that also kind of disturbs the bias. Yeah.
So expectations of results.
Yeah.
What would you say underlines the idea that there is expectation of results? Can you dig further? What leads to someone having this kind of thought process? What do they feel they're in control of? They're in control of action, but then what else? So I might have asked a difficult question. So let me dig into this, right? Let's start with, unless Sama, you have a...
Yeah, I would say they are in control of actions as well as reactions. It's sometimes it's hard, like I can control what I'm doing, but sometimes if something goes wrong, can I control my reaction to whatever happened as well?
Okay. Almost there. So there's a misconception in this idea. I feel I am the doer. I am the doer. I'm the one that can lift my hand. I'm the one that can work hard. Then they also feel if I'm in control of actions, then that is in control of results. So indirectly, I'm controlling results. That's the misconception that's inbuilt. Because I lifted this pen is now in my hand. Because I planted this seed, I have to get corn. Because I did this hard work, I must achieve, whatever I was working for. So let's say for exams, I studied hard, therefore I need to get an A. I worked hard and marketed really hard, therefore I should get better sales. So the assumption here is because I'm controlling actions, I'll change this. It's not I'm controlling reactions, I'm controlling results. Then, when life happens, and we don't get the results I was supposed to get in the time frame I was expecting it, suddenly my entire equation has been proven wrong. And therefore I start despairing. What do you mean? I studied hard. Why am I not getting an A? I contacted all these people. I did my marketing job. Why is it I'm not getting sales? So there's a misconception in all of this. Am I in control of results? Am I in control of results? What would our answers now be? Now that we've understood that there's a misconception, the answer is no. In Upadesha Sara, the word that's given, or who is actually then in control? Upadesha Sara says, Ishvara is karma phala data. So, Ishvara is karma phala data. So, remember and this was like way back, there was a couple classes back, there was an analogy I gave. If you have a field and there's a cow and a post and a string that ties the cow to the post, the cow has all the freedom to move around within the length of that rope. But can it move in areas outside of that fence? No. Whatever is within my control, I can do whatever I want. But I cannot do things that is out of my control. So back to this equation, what is within my control? Actions alone. Can I control results? No. So why have I built this weird notion that I expect results? Now coming back to the original question, what prevents someone from maintaining their poise and harmony is this misconstrued idea that I am in control of the circumstances around me. That notion has to be corrected when we come to understand, look, all I can do is act. Everything else I have to let go. It is what it is. Bhagwan knows my prarabdha. Bhagwan knows this Ishwar and how it works. He will give me what I deserve. I have to learn to accept it. Then we calm down saying, okay, I'm no longer a victim. I am not a victim anymore. I can do what I can. The rest is meant to come to me. That is not in my control. Okay, there's a sense of stability that's developed there. So the final answer to this is, why do we have this? Why are we not able to maintain harmony in poise? Because we don't see the grand scheme of things. The big picture. What is Bhagwan's involvement in all this? What is the universe involvement in all this? I am not this little island all onto myself. So, big picture. May I request, Evie, if we can go to the next slide. Can we switch to the next slide? And we'll read the next paragraph. Yeah, this is good. So he proposed the question, and now he's offering a solution. Actually, we might be investigating a little bit more about this problem. It says here, the external threats and challenges are bound to reach us. This is inevitable. We cry and complain saying, why do bad things happen to me? Why does this always happen to me? Listen, you can't change that. It will inevitably come. The success and joy in life are measured by the extent of control one has over the inner subjective confusions. Thus, we despair for solutions, and such heart-burning protest weakens our inner personality. Okay, so can we move to the next slide? The question now will be, what is this most important phrase in here? Inner subjective confusion. And now I'm going to make it more practical, or ask you to put yourself in the teacher mode. How does this phrase, inner subjective confusion, manifest itself in the student's experiences? And how does this inner subjective confusion manifest itself from the parent's experience? So, we're trying to apply this concept here. So, shall I try with Chitrakoot first and then come to Saket here? All right, so let's try it. Do I have any volunteers from Chitrakoot's side that would like to speak up and answer this question?
We came up with the 3 points: the manifestation as stress, conflicts and arguments between the parents and the children. Arguments and children. And also misalignment to the goals.
So would you like to expand a little bit on each one? These are good phrases, but can you explain it?
So we discussed a lot, and we found that because of this lot of arguments and conflicts, there's a lot of stress in the students. And one example we came out here with was selection of the courses in the high school, where they try to they select those courses to get better grades rather than what they really want to do. So it's more like you're trying to we were talking about other things like peer pressure. To keep up with the peer pressures, you try to take these wrong decisions which are not really aligned to what you want to do.
What about the second
The expectations from the parents versus children lead to a lot of arguments because they are not in sync on what they want to do. Each of them have their own view how they want to do.
And then the last one, misalignment to goals.
So because of these conflicts, you tend to lose what you're really looking for. Neither the child nor the parent, right? So they can compromise.
Okay, thank you. Is there anything else? Or it's pretty good? Yeah? Okay, so now from this side here. Okay, so it picks up? Okay, I can do that. Okay, fair enough. I didn't know if there would be feedback, but I can leave the mic on. Okay, so would we like to add any other thoughts here? From this, the idea was inner subjective confusions. How does that manifest in students and parents? I'm confused about this question. That's my subjective. Go ahead. Their answer was Chitrakoot covered it.
Yeah, they covered everything. And I would say, I mean, I would have a solution rather than any of those here. Steering, having conversation and steering it in such a manner that they feel empowered, that they are making the right decisions by having open discussion.
Okay, so open discussions. And empowering them. Okay. You know what I find funny? The fact that we're uncomfortable being in the problem. We're constantly itching for solutions, where my point that I'm trying to make here is Gurudev and Shastras often spend time to investigate exactly how does inner confusions work? Exactly how much pain do we feel and in what ways? So we want to start, these two questions were simply designed to ask you to investigate and unfurl what the problem is. Until and unless we know how it manifests and where it comes from, solutions, you know, it's just like us, like monkeys trying to like fit a block into a hole, and we don't know how it fits, because our understanding of the problem hasn't been developed enough. So we were first thinking, yes. Amma, if you don't mind, can you speak into the mic? Yes.
I can talk louder too if needed.
Go ahead.
I feel that there's a bit confusion in that, because to me, when you ask that question, it looks like that mindset that's been set by my parents to me, by my parents' parents to them is, oh, if you study, you'll get A grades. Oh, if you do this, you'll get this right away. And also the fact that, oh, you have to be a doctor or you have to be an engineer because that's what we need to, otherwise you won't get a job, you know, things like that. So that last part of empowering does come in the picture. Like I tell my son that you don't have to be an engineer, you don't have to be a doctor, but you have to be something that you're going to enjoy doing and get that, you know, satisfaction that, or enjoy going to school also, because if it's engineering and he doesn't want to be an engineer, then he's going to, you know, miss classes or not pay attention and be distracted. Because the kid has to like that to enjoy it and to be like more responsible towards it, because it's something they really, they're passionate about it. So I do have a child who's struggling with what her passion is. She's like, I don't have a passion. What am I going to do? Right? So trying to help her in that and walking them through it. So if they want to take an engineering course, great. But hey, you might not get the perfect grade, which is okay. You just need to enjoy what you're doing and at least learn it. You may be bad with exams. A lot of kids are. I stress a lot when I have to take an exam, even today. So that can happen. But I think understanding the concept is what's needed. So it's that I don't know how to say it, generations passed over the concept that if you do this, you're going to get this.
Yes.
Like, again, going back to that, you know, we control the results. We don't control the results. We control the effort we put in.
Yes.
That's pretty much it.
Fair enough. That's a good analysis, right? That's an application of false expectations or false understanding of the nature of the world. If the previous equation we saw was, I control actions, therefore I should be able to control results. And how does that manifest in the relationship between students and parents? Parents say, study hard, earn well, get a job that guarantees money. The results of happiness and security will come. See, they're just functioning according to what natural instincts they have. Here's another thing, generational differences. Right? That becomes a very important role in that equation as well. when they were suffering through poverty, when they were trying to make their way to come up in the world, their focus was, their goal was, I need to have money, I need to have security. That was their goal. I am willing to sacrifice my likes and dislikes and my bhava, swabhava, my talents and skill sets, because I need to do what needs to get done right now because we're in this pressure. That was a previous generation. With that, they came to the US, they became settled. Can you say that your children were born into the same level of wealth as when you were? No, in fact, they were born into more wealth. Now, the pressure of having to survive has come down a little bit. Now I have the flexibility to start thinking. Is there a better reason or a grander reason to start working for? Now the discussions will be around, how do I find something that I like to do and still make it useful? So my point here is that there's both the philosophical as well as experiential differences that dictate how we behave in life. If you were struggling to survive, you're like, don't worry about, talents and skill sets. I'll figure it out. I just got to survive right now. But now we're in a different situation where we now can think a little bit broader. But even still, what is now, I think we're itching for solutions. So let's go to the next question here. If we can flip back to the PowerPoint slide. And we can move one slide forward. And I'll ask a volunteer from this room if you can read that paragraph once they put it up. It's a long one, but go back. I'm not ready for the question yet. All right, cool. So may I ask if you're willing to just read what's on the slide, the paragraph we're looking at?
Yeah. After carefully analyzing our weaknesses, the masters in the religious fields advise us to grow in strength and gain mastery over situations in life by living in harmony with them. The life of harmony can be lived by rising above our limited egocentric view of things and happenings and expanding our mind to accommodate a constant awareness of the totality of the world, the entirety of mankind, and the vastness and wholeness of the universal problems. When this total and consummate perception is developed and maintained, man's individual problems sink into insignificance and absurdity. But when he views his problems from a purely egocentric and individual angle without the vision of totality, the problems assume exaggerated and enormous proportions and crush him.
All right. So, that blue section there, life of harmony can be lived rising above one's own limited egocentric views and happenings, expanding the mind to accommodate constant awareness of the totality of the world, entirety of mankind, and the wholeness of the universal problem. So really speaking, the way to solve any situation is to expand our vision, accommodate from a higher perspective. So in Gita, there was one example here. When we talk about BMI, right? BMI. Would you mind if we flip back to the board? Yes, okay. BMI, right? The example here is, I see this individual as a woman. I see this individual as a mother. I see this as a feminine manifestation. And Om Brahman. I'm taking this as an example, right? When we're living and interacting with people around us, especially I'll take a spousal relationship, right? Especially when you put in 10, 15 years of work and interaction, there's always problems that can occur. You start to really understand the good parts, bad parts, and there's some idiosyncrasies, pet peeves that develop. Now, if I were to relate to that person as just the woman, women are always like this. They constantly nag. They have this ability to give you a compliment, but it's really insulting you in that way. It's this passive aggressiveness. All women have this. I can't deal with this. So we feel this turmoil. There's no harmony or poise in that manner. But if we lived here, how do I solve this problem? I can't change her. This is the fundamental rule of marriage. You cannot change that person. They are who they are. I have to learn to live with it. See, that's the first thing. I cannot change the outer circumstances. I need to change from within. Now, if I stop looking at her as the individual and rise my vision to something a little bit higher, I recognize the role she plays. She is my other half. She is the mother to my children. Yes, there are so many variations that happen. Yes, little nuances. Why is she being passive aggressive? Because there's an issue that's happening at home that needs to be solved. She's trying to fulfill her responsibility as a mother or a spouse, a friend, whatever it is. When we rise above, oh, women are like this. No. This is her playing her part as a mother. Okay? Then, if we can rise even further, we recognize that fundamentally there are differences. She is that manifestation of education within my family. She is that first guru that comes into my home. You rise above finding the feminine powers that is within this universe manifesting through her. Whenever we look at Bhagwan Shiva and his consort, that Purusha Prakriti is always the two of them together. One cannot be without the other. Parvati Devi, in her previous birth, she was Sati Devi. Through her story, she was separated from the identity with Bhagwan Shiva because she doubted him. So she left that body, and to re-establish her identity with Bhagwan Shiva, she went through the lifetime of Parvati Devi. And her entire beginning was, Bhagwan is surely my other half. I cannot be without him. So in the same way, when we were to apply it, I am in this grahastha ashrama. She is my other half. We are saha dharmacharins. She is the feminine manifestation in this relationship. I am the masculine manifestation in this relationship. We are the two halves. There are going to be differences, but together we can work. So I rise one more step. Take it to the final. Listen, this is Paramatma. This is that ultimate reality. All of this is just the nuances of manifestation. This is just the leelas. That is that highest reality. See, when we force ourselves to think from that highest perspective, doesn't the little bickering of our day-to-day life feel meaningless? It shrinks in its severity. We no longer feel like a victim. We are able to sit back, relax, saying, okay, this is part of life. This is the joys. This is the drama that unfolds. I'm able to remain poised and collected in all circumstances. So in that paragraph, he said, the key is to rise above the ego. This example, by the way, comes from Bhagavad Gita in, I think, chapter 2. Puja Gurudev talked about this. Whenever there's an issue, find the next layer, bigger layer that accommodates a vaster point of view. Watch how the lower problems resolve itself. So now, can we go to the question that was posed after this paragraph? With this in mind, the question is, now I wanted to bring back this teacher application. I want to apply this principle to Sri Ramchandraji in something that he was going through. And the incident that I picked was the coronation event. The whole Ayodhya, the entire Bharat was ready to experience the joy of Sri Ramchandraji being king. The very morning of his coronation, the fate twisted itself and came crashing down on him. And so, I'm not done. It says thank you for viewing. I'm not done yet. All right. So here, in this devastating circumstances, we saw Sri Ramchandraji unruffled. He still had that smile on his face. Now let's understand why. Let's apply the principle. Principle was, life of harmony can be lived by rising above the limited egocentric perspective and accommodating a constant awareness of totality. That's the principle. Can we apply that to Sri Ramchandraji? How was he able to maintain poise in that situation? What were some of the reasons he gave that showed how he stayed samatvam? So you're going to have to rack your brains a little bit, think about Ramayana and what the instances were. I'll take one answer from here, and then I'll switch to Chitrakoot. Give me another answer from that side, okay? So Amma, if you'd take the mic and share your first answer.
I think the first reason for him was that his father had told him this, so he respected, out of respect for his father, he took that decision and did not complain or anything.
Satyam vada. His father's words must be true. Words must be true. This is the one reason he was also upholding that promise. Okay, so now let me switch to Chitrakoot here. Can someone give me the next answer? There we go. You have to figure out which mic to. Yes. Go ahead. I can hear you.
Okay, yeah. So the first one was dharma. We talked about his strong, following dharma, and that was he knew that this is the right thing to do.
Okay. So following dharma, right thing to do. Okay. From Saket here, another answer. That's all right.
I would say, results of actions, because part of it was whatever he was cursed, right, by Narad ji, that he would be going into this taking support from Vanars, right? So I would say results of actions. Okay. Even though he was incarnation of Vishnu, still those results were not in his hands.
Okay. So the shapa or dictate, so results, is not in his hands. Okay. Anyone? Let's see how quickly we can transition here. Chitrakoot side. Any other answers?
Okay. Trust or faith, as in no fear of what is going to happen.
Okay. Why though? You're still reiterating that he is poised. He has no fear, but where does that come from? What's the source?
I mean, I would say he was Bhagwan himself, but trust in Bhagwan or that power that is going to take care and not faith.
That's like a trump card. Well, he's Bhagwan, of course he's going to be Samatvam. So again, remember, Bhagwan in the form of Ramchandraji, he exemplifies what a Manusha is like. So we have to remove, I will cancel that answer if you don't mind. You cannot use that he's Bhagwan as the answer. He's acting as a man. So give me, now from Saket's side, one more. I'm looking for one more. There's specific answers I had in mind when I was thinking about this. I would agree. I will take this part. He had to go to the forest to support Vanaras was something that was determined before he took avatara. That was something he had to do. I would say keeping his father's word is definitely another important reason he gave, saying, no, I will go to the forest, I will fulfill this exile. What are other reasons?
So I would say the Brahman that we just went over, BMI chart, he was at that Brahman level where he was not thinking about himself, his ego. He was thinking above, where he wasn't seeing the persons, he was seeing the big picture.
I'm asking to be specific about that big picture. What aspects of the world was he thinking about that he was trying to fulfill?
Established dharma.
Okay, established dharma. So yada yada, right? Yada yada hi dharmasya. So that principle is there. Okay, what else? Oh, I have to watch the time. I'm totally over time. So as a quick completion for this, the three examples that came to mind was, one, Satyam Vada. From a transactional standpoint, he needs to protect his father's word. So that wasn't his ego. He was serving his father. Second reason was that he needs to go into the forest. And what was the real reason why he took avatara? He had to kill Ravana. That was the true purpose of his birth. So he knew that later on, the prarabdha he has to fulfill can only happen if he left Ayodhya. So that's the dharma that's why I wanted to be specific. How exactly is he protecting dharma? He needed to conquer Ravana. Along the way, when he went into the forest, he conquered all the other Rakshasas. Then the third reason that comes to mind is all of the sadhus and bhaktas that were in the forest needed his blessings. Ahalya Devi, the boatman, Kevat, then Lakshmanji, Vibhishanji, Shabariji, all of these bhaktas needed his blessings. So to fulfill those duties is another reason. The point being, he lists all of these reasons. These are all reasons that are above his ego. This is what kept him sane. And final reason is, don't worry, I can still be the king of the forest. I still get my coronation. That's him remaining samatvam. So this is the application. We can resolve all problems if we think from a bigger perspective. What is the bigger, nobler ideal I serve for? My little problems will dissolve on its own. So thank you for this. I apologize I took over time, and I think this is sort of working. We'll get better at this. So with that, we'll do quick closing prayers, and we'll conclude here today. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om.